Several Democrats have been voicing opposition to the strikes on Iran. Virginia Senator Tim Kaine writing in a Wall Street Journal op-ed that it's unwise and unconstitutional and is calling for diplomacy instead. Senator Kaine joins us now this morning. And Senator, it's good to see you. Thanks for joining us.
You bet, Joe.
We have had lots of discussions, and I think your side of things has been well represented in terms of, remember the expression, if you break it, you own it. And it could be messy. It could be difficult. Dan Sonor asked me whenever we have someone that has your viewpoint to ask, A, do you at least acknowledge that it's a good thing for the world that Khamenei is gone? And two, just mind-boggling admiration for the U.S. forces and the Israeli forces in being able to carry out what they've done so far.
Yeah, Joe, those are easy questions. No sane person will miss the Ayatollah. And second, of course, I admire the troops. I got a kid in the military. I represent the most pro-military state in the United States. I'm on the Armed Services Committee. They serve wonderfully, just as they did in Iraq, just as they did in Afghanistan, just as they did in Vietnam. They were betrayed by poor civilian leadership in those instances. And that's why I believe we should not go to war illegally in violation of the Constitution. No shortcuts, no easy pass lanes. Let's do it the way we're supposed to with the debate and vote in Congress, where the reason is put before the American public, and we decide whether that reason is sufficient to justify sending our sons and daughters to potentially lose their lives.
Right. I understand that, Senator, and I know, I think you're on Twitter, that you must have seen that some of the things that are circulated, how many times President Obama took military action without a declaration of war. When did we last have a declaration of war? I think it was,
well, if you use declarations for or authorizations of military force, which are essentially the same, when President Obama wanted to wage military action against Syria for using chemical weapons, I blocked him. I said, you can't do that without Congress. I insisted that he bring it to Congress. When he wanted to do a nuclear deal with Iran, giving sanctions relief from congressional sanctions without coming to Congress, I blocked him. It is the case that President Obama struck targets pursuant to the 9/11 authorization, where Congress had voted to allow presidents to take action against terrorist groups. That was authorized action. And it's also the case that any president has the right to take action against incoming attacks. So President Biden using U.S. Navy assets to fire back against the Houthis who were firing on our ships in the Red Sea. Any president can take self-defense, but to wage offensive war, the framers of the Constitution were absolutely plain. It's been understood since 1787. You got to come to Congress. That doesn't mean every president has, and it certainly doesn't mean that every Congress has guarded that prerogative. But I've always pledged that I would.
Right, okay. But it's almost a moot point. He's at least has probably 60 days under certain provisions to carry things out. And if we did go your route, Senator, what's happened over the past 3 days is impossible. It could never happen. Even informing Congress at times about certain raids or actions that have to be done in secret, that's not, in the real world, it's not possible. So in the real world,
Joe,
but is this going to be a good?
You say,
but is it possible down the road you'll look back and say, this was a transformative move. The world is a better place. Iran is, the Middle East is a better place. So many, and I'm not saying it'll get there. It's probably be a long road and years, and it could get messy. It could be Iraq. I'm not saying it. But will you look back on it and say, that took a lot of courage for the president to do that, and it was the right thing? Could that ever happen?
Let me just underline the fact that I made an argument about the Constitution, and you said it was a moot point. I don't believe that. I don't believe the Constitution is a minor matter or a moot point.
I said it's already happened. I said it's already happened, and he's got 60 days, and I don't think...
No. If the War Powers Resolution passes, hostilities stop. That's what the law says. And I'm asking every senator to do what you should ask them to do. Go on the record and declare, are you for this or against this? Anybody who's elected to a job like this should not hide under their desks and say, oh, even though the Constitution says it's for Congress, let's let the president do it. and try to evade accountability. We got to be accountable. Service members have lost their lives. Families are being notified today, and they are grieving. Others have been injured. More of that will happen. You're right, Joe. This could end up working out so that there's a new chapter in Iran and U.S. casualties are minimized, or it could end up like Iraq and Afghanistan with 14,000 American service members and contractors dead, 65,000 injured, trillions of dollars spent. We don't know today. The consequences are possibly so massive. That's why the framers wanted Congress involved.
But when I said moot, I mean this would never happen. We'd be talking about it 20 years from now if we went your route, and it would never happen. And it could be what we needed. They can't get a nuclear weapon. We cannot. You know, I'm sure you agree with that.
Yeah. Let me focus on that. Can't get a nuclear weapon. We had a deal under which they were blocked from getting a nuclear weapon. The first paragraph said, Iran reaffirms that it will never
that ran out.
Acquire or develop. No, the first paragraph said they will never acquire, develop, or purchase a nuclear weapon. Donald Trump tore it up. He tore it up, alienating our allies, pushing our erstwhile adversaries, Russia and China, away, and allowing Iran to sprint. Then Donald Trump obliterated their program. According to him, 6 months ago, they were not on a path to getting a nuclear weapon that raised any imminent threat to the United States, suggesting the need for this invasion.
I mean, how many times are we going to negotiate? Another administration comes in. Iran, meanwhile, is like smiling and laughing as the pallets of cash arrive under some administrations and
you say pallets of cash.
I think at some point the talking is over. That listening to nodding and John Kerry, pretending that there's a strong enforceable agreement. Sooner or later, you just say, you know what, we need to make sure this doesn't happen for the good of the world, and stop the negotiating and allowing them to lie, dissemble, continue to kill Americans, and cause trouble in the entire area.
Joe, you're misrepresenting it. There was a deal, and when Donald Trump wanted to tear up the diplomatic deal, he asked his Secretary of Defense, Jim Mattis, his Secretary of State, Rex Tillerson. They said, stay in the deal because it's working. Donald Trump abandoned diplomacy, and now our service members are dying as a result. Iran has shown that it will reach a deal to block its nuclear path. Donald Trump prefers war, and he doesn't want to come to Congress to ask permission. And so it is Venezuela, it's the Pacific, it's Caribbean, it's Nigeria, it's Iran. Hey, maybe it's Greenland, Cuba, Mexico, Colombia next. We've got to go back.
He may not have. I mean, we're talking about it's just an interesting coda here. Just kind of quickly on this, the Wall Street Journal thinks that op-ed opinion section that the War Powers Act is unconstitutional. 1973 Vietnam War. So, what would ever happen if it's struck down? I mean, is it possible that these actions are more in line with a pre-1973 view of things?
It's a good question. I mean, it's 50 years old. It's not been struck down. So, the Wall Street Journal doesn't get to declare what the law of the United States is. I take an oath to uphold the Constitution, to support and defend it. It says only Congress can initiate war. A president can defend against ongoing attack without coming to Congress for permission. But the Constitution is clear about this, and that is the oath that I take. And as you guys know, the Constitution has some phrases that are incredibly specific. You have to be 35 to be president. Has other phrases that are vague, due process of law. The war powers part of the Constitution is among the most specific, and the constitutional notes about the convention make very plain exactly what they were trying to do. They wanted to restrain an executive's ability to go to war. And at the time, the executive was George Washington. They loved George Washington. They just felt like war was too big a deal to leave in the hands of any one person.
We won't even get into any of the unconstitutional things that maybe certain parties overlook at different points in time.
And we won't get into rising energy prices and the fact that the president isn't focusing on
You know what I'm talking about,
costs,
not enforcing federal laws and open board. I mean, there's a lot of, both sides are at fault in viewing the Constitution through a different prism, depending on their own.
Let's just follow it. Let's just follow it.
Okay, well, let's all live by it then. And
Amen.
We can't go back in time. But all right, Senator Kaine, very good to have you on this morning.
Thank you, guys. Take care.
Okay, see you.